Hello everybody! This video is going to kind of try to address some of the questions I've been getting a lot from people with the EZABL kits. If you're not familiar with them, you can go to the link in the description. It's basically a hardware kit that allows you to enable your Marlin auto bed leveling routine on pretty much any board that has a ZN stop, and you can flash the Marlin firmware on. The couple things I want to address is the firmware types for my CR10 users. You will see two types of firmware on the website. The first one is just your auto bed leveling with the OEM or stock sensor mount. And what that is the sensor mount that mounts to the left of the print head. And that's the one that is downloaded from my website. That is an original mount that you can get through there, and it'll mount the sensor to the left of the head. Now, some of the users on the CR10 group have told me that the stock mount I make works with the standard Fang type mount, and I would recommend you guys go with this mount that I have, even if you're using the Fang, because I can guarantee that the what are called the sensor offsets, which I discuss in the installation guide, are accurate. And what the offsets are is it tells the firmware where the actual sensor is in relation to the nozzle. And the reason this is important is because if that is off by a few millimeters, it can skew the bed leveling and not give you a good bed leveling result. There are, I think, at least 4 different types of the Fang mount. There's one for the stock OEM hot end, there's one for the V6, there's one for the Volcano, and there's also another one that a user made on the CR10 forums that moves the sensor lower because the one that's already out for the existing stock hot end puts the sensor too high on some of the setups, meaning you can't get it close enough to the bed to accurately read. So my recommendation is that you use the stock OEM style sensor mount that is on my website. You can get it by going to www.timothyhoagland.com. Go up to the top, click 3D printing, and then downloads. And then you'll see, if you click the CR10 category on the right, you will see that sensor mount. There also are the full STLs for the EZABL cases if you want to change the color of your case, if your lid gets damaged during shipping. I know a few people have had that happen where the little arms break off, and I just want to personally apologize for that because 3D design is not my strong suit, and I'm the one who designed that. So if someone is willing to redesign the case for that, I can send the design specifications for the actual PC board and where the cutouts need to be, and I'd be willing to send you a free kit if you can give me a good design on that EZABL case, because I do want to revise that. I just wanted to put that out there. In addition to that, there have been people asking about the bootloader and flashing it, because on the CR10 systems you need to have a bootloader flash. Now, there is an instructable link in the description below on this video, and it's also on the CR10 firmware update page on my website, which you can get to by going to www.timothyhoagland.com. Hover over the 3D printing link at the top, a submenu will pop up, and then you can click CR10 firmware update. That has all the downloads you need for the actual firmware. There's pre-compiled binaries, which means you don't have to compile from source. All the firmware is provided as is, meaning if you have an issue with it, you can let me know, but I'm not providing support on it because there's so many people that use it. If you do want me to sit down and custom tune the firmware to your printer, or if you have a different board other than the stock, that is a service I offer. My standard rate is $30 an hour for that on a 2-hour minimum, meaning if it takes me 2 hours, you pay $60. If it takes me an hour, you still pay $60. And then after that, it's just $30 an hour, and that's a standard rate. And that's what I feel is fair for my time, because I have to carve out that time out of my night to put aside other things. You can see my huge labels here. I'm constantly shipping these kits out. I have had a few of the sensors go bad, but that's what the warranty is for. There's a 30-day guarantee on it, so I recommend that you get the sensor installed as soon as possible. I do limited testing here, meaning the sensors get power applied to them once they're mounted to the boards, and I test to make sure that they're actually sensing. Now, I am building a rig right now to actually mount the sensors in and essentially have what would be just a motor with a threaded rod where I clip the sensor in, clip the leads on, and then do a repeatability test. And basically any probes that do not pass the repeatability test will not get shipped out. Now, out of the about 200 I've shipped out, I've only had issues with 5 sensors. Now, I'm personally not happy with that, but when you're buying in such a high volume, you're going to have sensors go bad. And I personally stand behind the product. 30 days I feel like is accurate in terms of how long I'm going to actually back the product for. But if you have an issue a week after, as long as you're not going to be coming at me and, being harsh about it, and, you're just like, hey man, I understand it happens, I'll take care of you. The thing is, I'm trying to cover my ass here in terms of, you get people that are just, they fry it, or they're not installing correctly, or they're just being a general pain to deal with. You're going to get those people. And honestly, if I get people that are like that, which luckily I haven't, I'm just going to be like, you know what, obviously this product isn't for you. I'm just going to send you a refund and a label to send the product back, because it's not going to be worth my time to deal with somebody that's completely over the top unreasonable. So this is literally just me. This is my home office here. I do everything out of here. Literally everything. The sensor assembly, the testing, any support. It's literally just me. Now, I do have friends that help me assemble these kits, and I personally go through each one before they get sent out, but I'm one guy. So you guys need to be patient. I am not at a point where I can say, screw this to my day job and do this full time. That would be great if I could do the consulting for the printer support and do these kits, but it's not at a point where I'm making nearly enough money to even cover half of what I'm doing for my day job. So hopefully I can get to that point, but right now, you guys got to bear with me. I'm literally just a guy running this out of his home office, trying the best I can. So I appreciate everybody's support. I just wanted to put this out here again just to kind of address mainly the sensor mount and the firmware issues. So the most important thing when you're doing these kits and installing them is getting that sensor offset right. So if you have a offsets correctly, because if you don't, then your sensor is going to probe in the wrong location. So what I'm going to do here, I'm firing up my Arduino firmware, and then I'm going to switch over to the screen share here, and then what I'm going to show you is the actual firmware that you need to change. So I've got my YouTube video up there, but now I got the firmware up here, and so I'm going to see if I can make this a little larger. I don't believe I can zoom in on the actual Arduino IDE, which is kind of a pain, but hopefully you guys can see this. And what I'm in right now is the configuration.h file, and this is for one of my printers here. And what you'll see here is this section here. It says Z probe to nozzle XY offset, and basically what it shows here is a little diagram that has the probe, and they show an example of the nozzle being at 1010 on XY and the probe being at 2020. So that would make your offset be 1010. So you're basically measuring where the probe is in relation to the nozzle. So this particular sensor mount, this was, I believe, for my brother's Tron XY X3 that we just built, and his offset was -41 and -4, meaning his probe was to the left 41 from the nozzle on the x-axis, and it was 4 millimeters in front of the nozzle on the y. And what you're going to do is you're going to measure the distance from the center of the actual sensor, and by that I mean the dead center. So dead center on the sensor here is where you're measuring from. So dead center on the sensor to the nozzle like tip, and that's how you get your offset. So you want to enter that into your Marlin firmware, and if you have your offset set correctly, you have the sensor calibrated as per my guide, where you bring it down, you adjust the sensing distance, and have it, the proper height off the bed, you're going to get good results. There's 3-4 printers you can see there. The Delta does not have one because I use a nozzle probe type deal. I'm still playing with the Deltas to figure out how to get those dialed in. But all my Cartesian machines, the Start, the AM8, the CR10, the CR10S4. The CR10S4 is, I can never remember where to point. It's somewhere over there. It's on the other rack that you can't see in the shot. But all of them have the ABL sensor. The AMA has my first version of the EZABL that I made out of necessity for myself. And that's the original kit. That printer has over 4 months of print time of that head slamming around, and the sensor still works. It's the same exact sensor that I bought months ago, probably back in January, I want to say, that I'm shipping out with these kits. It's the same exact supplier. So if you guys have issues, all you need to do is send an email to support@timothyhoagland.com, and that'll open up a ticket. If you send it to any other email address, if you somehow have my personal email or the me@timothyhoagland.com, I'm probably going to miss it. I get hundreds upon hundreds of emails into that box from different websites and other things that I have that address set up for. I'm going to miss it. You need to send the ticket to the actual support email address, and that'll create a ticket in my ticketing system. I check that every single day, even on the weekends. So, hopefully this has been of some use. I just wanted to record something really quick. It's about 7 a.m. here on Wednesday, and I'm getting ready to go to work in a little bit. And I just wanted to say thank you. And if you have any questions, even if they're pre-sales questions, you can either send a message through the Facebook page or through the contact page on my website. That also creates a ticket if you use the contact form on my website, and that'll automatically go to the place. So that's my preferred method. Do not try calling the phone number on my site. That's mainly for IT support type things. Just send a message through the contact form or to support@timothyhoagland.com, and I'll get back to you. You know, if I don't respond, it's not because I'm blowing you off. It's probably because I'm busy. You know, like I said, it's just me. So anyways, I'll stop talking your ear off. I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate everybody's time. I just want to say thank you to the people that did have issues with their sensors, and thank you for understanding that, you know, I can only do so much and things happen. So the difference is that I'm going to take care of you versus, you know, if you were to do this on your own and, you know, purchase all the parts separately, by all means, great. That's what I did. That's what I got started. But the benefit of getting these kits and the reason you're paying a premium for it is because I'm backing them, and you have someone to go to if you have a problem. You're not going to have to go on random Facebook forums where you got 10 different people telling you 10 different things, and they may or may not know what they're talking about. And that's what I'm trying to do with these kits, is to get auto bed leveling to as many people as I can that normally wouldn't be able to solder up their own circuits and whatnot, or they're just not comfortable with it, or they just don't have time. Like, I get it. I've paid for things that I could have done myself cheaper, but it saved me time, and that's really important. So anyways, thank you again, and I'm going to go get to work shipping these orders out that you see right there. The Zebra label printers are amazing, by the way. I'm glad I bought one because it makes my shipping process a lot faster. So anyways, everybody, thank you, and have a great day.